poetry. Some people use art, some people use writing to get rid of their stress, you know, write it out. Ranting on paper, as my one of my high school English teachers used to say. And you know, I can do that. Not so much the art, but I can do the poetry and the writing, you know, to write out my feelings. But nothing works better than a night drive. Or just a drive in general, but preferably a nighttime drive. There's barely any other people out on the road. You just pick a direction, pick an amount of gas you want to use, and once you're halfway through it, you turn around and head back. It is the most freeing experience one could ever get. And you get to see things nobody during the day gets to see. A few miles back, I saw an owl swooping into a tree to finish its meal. I've seen numerous deer, which I guess is either a blessing or a hindrance, whichever you want to see it as. I've seen raccoons, which, you know, you tend to see. Possums. Haven't seen a fox yet, but there's just something about driving at night that's so liberating. So, I don't know. It's just so calming. It's almost hypnotic for me. I drive, I listen to music, I sing along, and it makes everything melt away. It makes me feel like I'm the only person in the world, that I don't have to answer to anybody, that I don't have any expectations upon me, that I don't have to impress anybody, that it's just me, the music, my car, and the road. And that's all there really needs to be.
I was 5 and he was 6. We rode on horses made of sticks. He wore black and I wore white. He would always win the fight. Bang, bang. He shot me down. Bang, bang. I hit the ground. Bang, bang. That awful sound. Bang, bang. My baby shot me down.
One of the things that started this, well, can't say started, well, I guess can. Anyway, one of the reasons I wanted to come out driving tonight was because I was just stressed and I had issues and, yeah. But I was talking with a friend of mine via AIM, and he'd been having a rough weekend. He's home, and he's been having a rough weekend with his family, and I've not been having that good of a weekend either, because I've been really disappointed in myself, and when I'm alone, I think about death and mortality. But on that subject, we were talking, and he asked me what was wrong, and I explained that when I'm alone and I don't have people to keep me company, I don't have people to talk to, other than a cat, I start thinking about death, how mortal we are. Well, we are mortal, there is no how easy it is, and how short life is, and how meaningless college and all of this menial stuff that I'm so stressed over seems. And I love him dearly, and he was just saying, you know, it doesn't mean, you know, it doesn't mean nothing, it means something. You're affecting people, and I believe him, you know, I am affecting people. There will be people who remember me when I go. And then we talked about, he asked me, he's like, why? Well, he didn't ask me, but I brought up the subject that there's all these people who say, you know, there's a hypothetical question. If vampires existed, and they really were immortal until they chose to die, would you become a vampire? Would you become immortal? And I told him, I'm like, you know, all these people say no, I'd want to have my lifespan lengthened, but I wouldn't want to live forever, you know. We're meant to die. And I said I would take it in a heartbeat. And he's, you know, I would take it in a heartbeat, you know, even if I had to watch all the people around me, you know, the people I love die, you know, I would stay the same. And he's like, could you really do that? Could you really watch the people around you go away and die? Could you really do that? And then he brought up the subject, the fact that a lot of different mythos around the vampires says they're missing something. They're emotionless, or they're missing their soul, or something along those lines. He's like, could you live like that? I said I'd lived through being emotionless before, so it would be no change, you know. He's like, I said, I'm just like, you know, and I said, have you ever thought about being anything other than human, you know? And his response was, I don't know how to make you not human, love. And I'm like, I know. I'm like, there are ways, but it's, you know, it doesn't give you the longevity or the immortality that I would be looking for. It just makes you a monster. And he's like, could you become a monster? He asked me, he's like, could you become a monster? And I had to answer him honestly. I said, if it would prolong my life a great deal, or I would be immortal, yes, I could totally do it. I am that afraid of my own mortality. I am that afraid of having this end. You know, never being able to experience anything that I've experienced again. Driving, never being able to feel the wind on my face, never being able to see a sunrise or a sunset, never being able to hold someone's hand, hug somebody. Having that all end, having it all just go away and never being able to do it again, and not knowing what's on the other side, not knowing what's going to happen to you, not knowing if this is it. You know, it's a creepy, horrible, scary subject that whenever I'm alone, I think about. Not cool.
Shines her light on the city night.